Hey there, and welcome back to the garden. A lot has been going on the last few weeks, so I'll walk you through the garden and give you an update on the month of July. At the entrance, I finally added some ropes around the little sweet pea trellis. The reason it took so long was because hardly any of the sweet peas germinated or survived for that matter, so there was no reason to support them. This was probably due to the colder weather and of course the slugs that have been eating everything, and you're probably gonna hear that some more through this video. I've sown some new sweet peas in a pot instead of directly in the ground, just to increase the chance of them surviving, and now I'm going to plant them around the trellis. It is a bit later in the season for them, but we still have a good 3 months before the cold weather starts, so I'm sure they will do fine. Around the corner trellises, the lavender that I've planted in spring has started to bloom, and is one big party for the bees. The second planting of butternut squash had a very slow start, but they have survived the slug attacks and are now starting to climb up the trellis. Next to the corner trellis on the right side I have my onion bed, and these boys are starting to look fat. The scapes are starting to yellow and fall over, so it won't be long before I can harvest them. Right behind the sweet peas are the second variety of potatoes that I've planted. They have flowered about 5 weeks ago, and much like the onions, they are starting to become yellow, so I can't wait to harvest these pretty soon. These are the beds that I grew my first early potatoes in, and after I harvested them, I put a lot of leafy greens in there. None of them survived, as you might have guessed, slugs and snails. So I decided to do a little bit of an experiment. I like experimenting. Now, what I have here is a bag of organic store-bought potatoes. I have no idea which kind it is, but I'm going to try to get another harvest of potatoes out of these 2 grow beds within about 90 days, because our first frost date is about 3 months away. There, that is another potato bed ready to get going. Speaking of potatoes, my stone grow bed that I grew my sweet potatoes in last year became a little bit neglected and overgrown. I want to grow some more sweet potatoes in there again. However, this is one of the few beds that does not have hardwire cloth at the bottom of it yet, to stop the vole from digging in. You can see some of the tunnel exits made by the vole, and I also disturbed multiple ant hives, so they were panicking a bit. Sorry, ants. And so it was time to deconstruct it to ground level, add the hardwire cloth, and then build it back up again. There, that's all done. Hopefully that will do the trick. Now it is time to fill it up again and plant some new sweet potato slips that I have been overwintering indoors. I've added some of my own compost to the top of the old soil and then topped that up with some potting mix. Alright, time to grow some new sweet potatoes. Just like last year, I've put an Oya in the bed and covered it with a nice layer of mulch. Both of them to keep the soil from drying out. So it was my birthday recently and I got a few nice presents for the garden. One of which is this big insect hotel. I'm going to place it right next to my little pond, and yeah, again, this is to attract pollinators, and I think it will be a nice addition to the garden. Another present that I got for my birthday is this little solar-powered water fountain. I'm gonna put it in my pond over here. Now, I'm not really sure if it's suitable for this pond because this one is more a clear water fountain, but if it doesn't work out, we're gonna put it in the pond back at home. It's pretty funny, I have to say. Look what happens when I'm blocking the sun. Gone. The fountain can actually empty the pond by spraying the water over the edge, so I gotta try to keep it in the middle of the pond. The third present that I got is this light chain that is also solar powered. I'm going to use it to decorate my arch, and again, this is just going to be a nice addition to the garden so that the people outside the garden can see how cool this garden is. And of course, I'm going to enjoy it myself a lot as well. On one side of the arch, I've finally gotten 2 cucumber plants to grow. This must be my third planting of them. The others were eaten by... guess who? On the other side of the arch I have some beets growing, as well as my sugar snap peas. Now, these were one of the first crops to start growing this year and they are pretty much spent, so it's about time to get them out. A bit further on in the garden used to be my A-frame that I grew my beans on last year. I've since replaced it with 2 new beds that are vol-proof, and a few weeks back I've added 2 new TP trellises. These will also have the duty of supporting runner beans, much like last year. To create some extra support for the plants, a whole web of ropes was added to the trellises, so that there is enough for the plants to hold on to. I've also installed an Oya underneath each trellis to add some extra passive irrigation. Now, 2 weeks later, the trellises are being tangled by bean plants that, as always, grow with exploding rate. I can't wait to harvest some new beans. They are one of my favorite crops. In between the 2 trellises, I used the remaining space to grow some lettuce, and this has been a struggle with the slugs that keep eating them, so my advice is to keep sowing and planting extra crops. In between the grow dome and the hotbed, which is currently not being used, there was some space left, and I thought it would be nice to plant a banana plant that we kinda neglected back home. It really looked miserable, but after 2 weeks in the soil, it looks a lot happier. On the other side of the garden are my 3 original grow beds, and in one of them the courgette plants have really exploded with growth. It will be only a few days before I can harvest my first courgette this year. Now, my first sowing back in April of both pak choy and Chinese cabbage had been eaten in 2 nights' time by slugs. So I've sown some new ones, and even though these have also been nibbled on in their pluck tray, I will still plant them out. Fingers crossed. I also have some standard broccoli seedlings that will hopefully provide me with some food in the colder months up ahead. Now it was time to decorate the center of my garden to become a real centerpiece and a hub for pollinators. I've bought a whole range of colored flowers, and this patch is really an eye-catcher as you walk into the garden. Not only is it pleasing to the eye, but the idea is to attract pollinators to the center of the garden so that they automatically pass by the crops and flowers that are more on the edge of my garden, increasing the chance for them to get pollinated. At the far right end of my garden is my so-called berry lane, and it has been a success already as we have been picking berries every time we have been busy in the garden. The yield is still small, but this is a multi-year project that will give more and more as the years go on. At the end of Berry Lane is my hop plant, and unfortunately due to strong winds, the teepee trellis has been broken. So I need to fix it soon, which is going to be a challenge since it's all wrapped around the old sticks. An honorable mention goes to the bioreactor that has been sitting there for a year, and pretty soon it's time to open it up and see what the result is after a year of static composting. Stay tuned for that one. You've probably seen it in the background, but the grow dome has not stayed idle. In fact, the new door is under construction and the dome houses a lot of tomato plants right now. But I will show that in part 3 of the grow dome once it's finished.
So that was the July update of the garden. As you can see, a lot of things have happened. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe. And if you're curious how the garden looked a year ago, you can watch that right over here.